giggles.
Another day for shits and giggles, huh?
Shits and giggles tonight. Shits and giggles. Okay, so we are here simply for my therapeutic purposes. We're not here for your entertainment. But if you so happen to be entertained by this, then it's a win-win for everyone. And to those I have not yet offended, please be patient. I'll get to you shortly. So, why have I lost your video? What are we talking about tonight?
I'm here. Just, you know that whenever we do this, you can't see me. So just act whatever. It'll show up on the back end. You know what? Think of it as like being on TV when you're doing the friggin' weather and everybody else is seeing that shit in the background, but you can't see it. But that's just how it is. You kind of just have to go with the flow.
Oh, they're saying the green screen in the studio.
Mm-hmm. Just think of yourself on that green screen right now.
So, what do we got going on tonight?
Well, tonight I'm going to talk about my Steelers. I made the playoffs yesterday. I would have loved to have played your Kansas City Chiefs. I was kind of indirectly cheering for Miami, but I kind of like who both teams got. I'm glad you guys are going to get a chance to smack down Tyreek Hill. And I'm just going to try to roll the dice and hope that Buffalo craps the bed like they typically do in most playoff games.
Well, I mean, I hope the outcome for our game is the same as the last one, because I really don't want Tyreek. Tyreek Hill's been talking so much shit since he left the team. I really don't want him to have more shit to talk. He's been pretty quiet this season. I'd like to keep it that way.
Well, when you're only beating teams below 500 and you get smacked by every team above 500, you shouldn't be doing a lot of talking. You can only beat losers. Show me you can actually beat a team above 500, and then maybe you can have a conversation with a few people. But most of their wins have been against teams that are southwards of 500. So I'm not knocking them. They did win quite a few games, but all the tough games that they had to win, they lost them all. So I won't say they're not a good team. They're not a great team. And I'll leave it at that.
Probably why my brother's not rubbing it in my face, because he knows what it is. And he has
No, he probably doesn't follow it enough. I know him. If they were good enough, he'd be rubbing it in your face. So he's probably not following it enough. He's just, I won't say he's a bandwagon jumper. He's a true
he knows
Dolphins fan.
His team's only beating teams under 500. He knows what it is, right? But meanwhile, he keeps trolling me and sending me these videos and clips and memes of Mahomes, right? All these different shit. I don't say nothing. I don't say anything. Not a word. Not a word.
You know the funny thing is, who won a Super Bowl after the split?
Right.
It doesn't take long to do the math. His Chiefs won without him, so they don't need him. To be honest, he was an idiot to leave, but I get why he left. Kansas City didn't want to match that contract because he was going to get paid pretty big. Kansas didn't want to pay him that type of money, so he decided to take his business to Florida. You know, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It's a business. He made the choice that was best for him. So
100%.
So he thought. So that's some shit that happened this week. So this story with this is my favorite story for the week, I think. This story with the guy in Las Vegas with the judge. Okay.
That is
like the spice.
Okay, so let me start by saying this. Let's just start by saying this before we dive into this. I am not condoning or agreeing with the behavior of the individual and what he did, or even what his crimes of what he's charged with. But for looking at a video and not knowing what the frig just happened, shit was funny. I don't care what anybody says. Dude came from around the desk, jumping over the friggin' desk like he was Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and friggin' tackled the friggin' judge, started wailing on her. I've never seen that.
I want to say, I'm glad that she was not seriously injured, because I did hear reportedly she had a concussion and a shoulder injury. But considering how the whole thing played out, if you watch the extended version of the video, because it was so ironic that his lawyer is there arguing for a lighter sentence for him, right? Trying to make it seem like he can be rehabilitated and he's learned his lesson and this, that, and the third, and it'll be good. Just And the judge was like, she's looking at his record. She's like, I think he needs a little taste of something else. And he's like, yeah, bitch, I don't think so. And he just supermaned it over that. He cleared it. Cleared it.
Hey, dude should have been like a high jumper or something, man. He's a definitely he could have been an athlete, 100%, because he ran and he flew. He didn't just jump; he flew. He
And you
clearly went across. That was some next level stuff, man. That was funny.
Face. You saw the expression on her face. You knew something was going to happen. It's like, okay, what's about to happen? And then you see this guy fly out of nowhere. But my thing, because I watched the video several times, my thing was a response time.
Yeah, you know what? It almost looked like the crew wanted them to, I know that guy to beat her ass. You know, like
that
if you protect it. So here's my thing. If I have people around me that are supposed to theoretically, you know, block or protect me from things that are coming my way, there was quite a bit of time between that bench and his desk before he Jimmy Superfast looked over the desk and gave her the flying clothesline.
And that's why I think well liked, because they had plenty of time to intervene prior to him making, because he's got to get from behind where he's at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get from behind where he's at, get all the, because there's a big space in between where the defendant is and where the judge is. He's got to get space and clear the bench, right? And get to the judge. There are people close to her. There are people standing next to her. There are people standing next to that desk, right? They knew he was coming. They saw him coming. They wanted to see what.
Not only that, he had old girl on the ground pounding on her. If you saw that, like you could see he was hitting her while she was on the ground. You didn't see her getting hit, but you could clearly see that he was stomping on somebody and punching down to the ground. So the only person that was on the ground was her, right?
It took too long to respond, and I almost feel like it was on purpose. I feel like she's a Karen, and they don't like her. A lot of people in there don't.
Whoa. Let's not throw terms out. We don't know who she is or what it is. I would have to see some more cases before I made that comment. But from a bystander standpoint, I would definitely say they could have responded a little bit quicker. It's like you see somebody coming to punch me in the face, and you wait till the person's face is like right here before you tell me the guy's gonna punch you in the face. Yeah, sweetie, you're a little too late. You know what I mean? Like, could have told me when the fist was over here, so I could have at least stopped. You know, I felt that's kind of what it was.
I don't know, man. You got a defendant charging the judge. Why are you waiting? Why are you?
Shock.
Entertainment.
You can't believe. Hey, maybe they were admiring his jump as well as much as we were. Because look, that jump was some amazing shit, man.
Listen, I'm telling you, from my point of view, right? And I don't know, I don't claim to know everything, but from my point of view, she's not well liked in that courtroom, okay? Because it's like almost the same thing as when you see a chick out and she looks like crap and she's with her friends. Those are not her friends. Those are not her friends. Because her friends would tell her, people who care about her would tell her, don't come out looking like that, because you're not coming out with me looking like that, looking all crazy and shit. I will subtly tell you. Now, if you want to get offended by that shit and not talk to me for a year, that's another thing, but I will try to tell you because I care, right? I'm not going to have you out here looking crazy in these streets, right? Just like
But you also know
somebody. There are people who are paid to defend her. They're paid to respond to that shit, okay? And they're paid to respond a lot quicker than they did. So I'm telling you, they don't like her. Anyway, that guy's facing 13 new charges as a result, allegedly.
I don't really think I don't think he really gives two shits about the charges anyways. He's like, whatever. A guy that cares about charges is not going to leapfrog over a bench to punch a judge.
But you know what would have made the whole video funnier? If when she finally did get up, if she said, I rest my case, boom, and slammed the gavel down.
He probably thumped her up in her mouth too much. She's probably not opening her mouth anytime soon, so she's good.
When they finally brought her up, because it took a while. She was down there for a while. I wasn't even sure if she was conscious or anything. So I was glad to see that they brought her to her feet. She was able to walk out of there, right?
Mm.
But she looked stunned when she finally reappeared on camera about 5 minutes later. Yeah. Oh well.
It's funny.
So the other day here in the city, they had a Toronto, yay, repping the six. They had a story. I saw a story about two vehicles on Dufferin and in the Dufferin and Lawrence area. In Lawrence, and they were reportedly shooting at one another, and end result, both cars end up in somebody's backyard and separate backyards, separate. Just,
You know what? When you hear stories like this, you kind of ask yourself two things. Why shoot out when you're both driving? Two things. You can both potentially get messed up. I'm not saying you really care. They're not going to care about the people that are driving beside them or around them. Like, why would you care about that? But it's just even for your own safety. Clearly, they don't even care about their own safety, right? If you're at that level where you're willing to one guy shooting into another car and into another car, so you end up into someone's backyard, it's crazy, right? But
and I wonder what an aerial shot of that scene playing out would look like. I just wonder how these
you know,
things ended up.
you ever play Grand Theft? You ever play Grand Theft Auto? That's probably what it would have looked like. It probably would have looked like a scene out of Grand Theft Auto. Two cars shooting at each other while they're driving down the street until one crashes into a tree. Oh, that's crazy.
Favor for a second. I want to just see something. Turn off your camera and turn it back on.
Why?
Because it's awkward that I can't see you. I was able to see you.
It's okay. Just keep going, man. Don't go ruining the thing. It's recording nice. Everything is great. Don't go messing it up.
Right? It's just weird talking to your picture right now.
It's okay.
So anyways, any interesting videos that you watched over the weekend?
Interesting videos. Hey, that Katt Williams is definitely taking the internet by storm. Spiral.
I recommend
He's definitely spitting some stuff in that video that makes you say,
recommend the watch.
Um,
Good interview. Although, as someone who does interview people, I have to say, and don't take offense, Shannon, don't take offense, I'm just saying, right? There are a couple times there where I don't know if it thought he wasn't listening, he wasn't following, he wasn't paying attention, but he put words in his mouth, and Katt had to like pull him up a couple of times, and that's not what I said. You know what I mean? So I like that he did that. I like that, he made sure that he was corrected when he needed to be corrected, and that nothing that he said was getting misconstrued. But
yeah,
he said a lot
and
of stuff.
Shannon Sharp, well, Shay, whatever. Shannon said a lot of things like, because he was called out for it. A lot of people have called him out saying, if you're going to do an interview, you should do a proper interview and ask proper questions. But his response to that was, it's a podcast. He's not an interview. He's here to just basically have conversations with people, for lack of better English, and, have a more informal conversation to get this information out of people, which I totally see. It's like you and I having a conversation now. This is not a formal interview, nor are we always going to use, listen, where are you going to hear the people like shit? They're not going to do that, right? It's a conversation. Is it on a social platform? Heck, it's on a social platform, but it's there more so as entertainment. And it should be treated as entertainment, and there is some truth behind it as well, too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I have a newfound appreciation for Katt Williams because I'm not really a stand-up person. I haven't watched a lot of stand-up in a long time. Like since BT Comic View, I have not watched a lot of stand-up. I haven't found it that entertaining. I'm more entertained by like what went down in that interview. Listening to someone speak who's funny, just in speaking, just in conversation, right? I love that. Right? He's a funny guy, and he's highly intelligent. Highly.
But did you see the comics that he said he followed? George Carlin.
Yeah.
I forget the other guy's name. None of these comics are black,
Yeah.
right? So if you listen to what he said he honed his craft so that he could attract mainly in the beginning it was white audiences he wanted to attract in the beginning because he figured,
Absolutely.
everybody kind of, pardon?
In the beginning, that's who he was performing for, white audience.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it goes to show, but look at the people that he grew up watching. Not saying that Eddie Murphy and those guys weren't there, but he more grasped, or not grasped, he more gravitated to those type of comics. I've listened to George Carlin stuff. He has some funny stuff. He talks about life and all that other stuff. He had that one joke where he talked about this is way before COVID came out. He's talking about immune system. And now as a kid, he played in the gutter and he lived in New York City. And he goes, you know how your immune system gets practice? You need germs. It was just funny the way how he delivered the message with. And I sat there and I was like, he's right. I remember being a kid, going to the creek. We didn't care. Yeah, we didn't want the water getting on us per se. But at the end of the day, we still did what we did. We caught crayfish. And the water's going to catch on you as long as you're trying to stick your hand in there to catch stuff, right? Was the water clean?
No.
It wasn't clean at all. The water was gross. But we did it anyways because we're kids. We figured we'd go wash our hands later, and that was it. Right?
Yeah, I didn't play in the creek. I didn't do shit like that. Disgusting.
Yeah, but you also weren't a little guy running around everywhere trying to figure out how things work.
But yeah, Katt Williams exposed a lot of stuff. A lot of things he said were things that we might have heard before, but he shed more light on it, right? And he listen, he was right about those same comments he's talking about, because they ain't funny. None of those people don't make me laugh. None of those people don't. So, but he said
I even watched a video with Bernie Mac's daughter. And Bernie Mac's daughter was kind of giving him props for saying, 15 years after her father's passing, and the fact that people are still talking good about him, it made her feel good. And she said she has mad respect for Katt and that she'd want to sit down and talk to Katt. But you know what's funny? The whole Steve Harvey trying to rush his way onto the Ocean's 11. Like, as soon as Bernie Mac passed, he tried to jump on it. And it's just funny, like all that stuff that he talked about Steve Harvey, it's like, wow, some serious stuff.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you this, because he touched on this as well. You and I both being Michael Jackson fans, and he talks very ill of Michael Jackson, and he talks a lot of truths. So what do you think?
I thought it was funny when he was talking about Chris Tucker and Michael Jackson being best friends. Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker, the nickname Christmas. Christmas? Did you let a man call you Christmas? I didn't even know about that.
No, Michael Jackson and Chris Tucker have been friends. They had, I don't know if you remember, Rock My World.
That part I knew. I did not know about the nickname Christmas, though.
Well, would you let anybody know that you let a man call you Christmas? Are you mad?
Listen, even as a woman, I wouldn't let a man call me friggin' Christmas. What do I look like? Don't mind the tree.
Hey, didn't we know a dude that was called Pookie at a softball game before? Was it Pookie? What was his name?
I know a guy named Pookie, but that don't mean nothing.
No. His woman.
The guy on our softball team where his woman was calling him Muffin.
Muffin. Oh God.
We all started calling him Muffin. We all started calling him Muffin after that. Because someone come and embarrass you like that at a softball game. Like, listen, I'm not even calling my man Muffin in private. Okay? Muffin is not a name for your man. But then again, that guy ain't no alpha, so that's why he let that shit happen. Moving right along.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I will say that. Definitely say that.
So I liked when when Katt Williams was like, my goal was to make it this far in my career and preserve my virgin asshole.
Yeah, you know what? He touched on a lot of stuff, man. And
He's
you
like,
know when he
I had to turn 50 million down 4 times because P didn't even be wanting to party. You got to tell him no. Name is coming up a lot. A lot.
uh,
His name was coming up a lot before, but now he's the butt of everybody's jokes.
but the thing is, he's always been coming up. Even in the 90s, I remember being in high school, and it wasn't to the same level as now, obviously, but we always kind of looked at this guy as he's eccentric, he's different. Who's this guy that's all up in the videos? Can't rap for crap, but he's all up in the videos and he's jumping around, and everybody kind of looked at him as like a clown.
You sound like
He did his,
the words.
but he is. You know what? Suge Knight's right. You're a producer, man. You're not a rapper. Like, name one rap song. No, and I'm not dissing. I'm not saying anything outside. I respect the craft of music, but can you name a Diddy song that you would say you'd bump in your car by, like, while people are around?
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
That's not his song. Well, it's his song, but there's all those features. Right? It's all the features in the song.
Features.
Right?
Does he have any songs by himself?
Would you want to hear a song with him by himself?
No. And I've been wondering if, since, like, because my alarm is hello.
Good morning.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, since the whole Cassie lawsuit, if I should change that. But I mean, it works. Like, it gets me in the morning.
As bad as it may sound, I still like the R. Kelly song. I don't see nothing wrong. I'm not gonna say I go out of my way to go bang that song all the time, but it's a classic, man. I don't condone, nor do I look at anything that he did as in a positive light. So I don't want to take away.
Deviance.
Yeah, because I don't want to overshadow anything that he's done by saying, let's cut it over to music. Never that. It's just more like I said, there was certain songs that bring me back to a certain time. And I remember that song in particular brought me back to my high school days,
Disclaimer, we do not condone violence or sexual deviance on this platform. Thank you. So that part in the interview when they're talking, when Shannon Sharp kept bringing up phase on the he goes, you have an unnatural alliance to losers. It's not like you. I love his lines. He's so
he's
intelligent.
He's very intelligent, But the thing is, in order to do stand-up, to be honest, in order to be a good comic, you got to be intelligent. You got to be into things that are going on in the world, and you got to be able to articulate them in a way that you can make them funny, even if they're not funny.
Yeah. Right. Like, speaking of that, did you hear about the Golden Globes last night?
How some guy made a comment about Taylor Swift?
A comment that the guy who was hosting, what's his name? Because I don't want to give incorrect information. Golden Globe. So anyway,
I saw the guy. I don't know his name, but I saw the guy. Yeah.
The host. Let's see.
I just remember when he said whatever he said. Taylor Swift started drinking that wine real quick. She had it on her face. She was pulling it up, and as soon as he said what he said, she drank something or another about the NFL and Taylor Swift. It was a comment along the lines of that.
I didn't want to say the wrong name. So it's Joe Coy. It wasn't just the joke about Taylor Swift. The Taylor Swift joke is going around because right now she's the viral thing with the Chiefs and Kelsey and all the shit. But that's what the joke was about, right? That she was get as much coverage as she does in the NFL last night, but the joke didn't land. But apparently, none of his jokes landed. Apparently, a lot of his jokes was just like crickets. From the way that they described it, I've never heard anything like this, but from the way that they described the hosting, like I felt bad for the guy. I don't even know him. Never.
Why would you feel bad?
Morning. Huh?
No. Why would you? Okay, here's my thing.
Because I'm an empath. Because I'm a natural empath. And everything I like, when I hear things, I'm putting myself in the shoes, right? So I'm thinking of myself on that stage, presenting these jokes, and none of them are landing. I'm trying to tell jokes, and people are sitting there like crickets. That's a comedian's worst nightmare. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so this is the Golden Globes. Okay, if you're gonna go up there and not be prepared, you deserve to get crickets. At least he wasn't booed, right? Um, as when you're on that stage, you're on that level, or they pay you to be out there. He could have played it safe and just did one-liners, but he sucked. So it is what it is. He still got paid. He still got back. But with that being said, I don't feel bad for him. I think he just sucks. That's all it is,
Empath.
right?
Though. You're not an empath, but
Yeah,
you know,
you can
so
keep your empath and turn it
Katt,
to an empath. See, you have your empath. You have your empath. I have my empath. He's definitely a loser.
it's the same thing Kat was talking about comedians who don't know what they're doing, right? Who aren't
Well, and he
doing.
also touched on the fact of more comedians need to be booed, right? He goes, you go on BET, and they're telling you to applaud the guy after his set, even
Automatically,
if he ain't funny, right? And it's like, if you ain't funny, why are you applauding a guy? It's like giving him a ribbon and he didn't finish first.
yeah. Second is the first loser, right?
Second place is the first loser. Yep.
I don't want your participant flag. Thanks, you can keep that. I
You
know
don't
I was.
want to participate.
I already know I was a participant. I don't need a reminder.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
you know what?
I was only a participant. Thank you. Thank you. No, you keep that. Thanks. Okay. I have a message for the liars. Okay.
Mhm.
I have a message for the liars because I can't. I can't. It's not my fault. I live my life. I keep it real. I don't have to answer to anybody but right and myself. That's it. That's it. So why do I need to lie? It's so much easier to keep it real and live in your truth. You don't have to answer to anybody. You don't owe anybody any explanations. A simple "I don't want to" is good enough. It's not. That's my reason. What do you mean? Why not? What other reason are you looking for other than "I don't want to"? You know what I mean? So I don't understand why people lie about stuff and lie about things that they don't need to. Because then what happens is they forget that they lied about these things. What they don't remember is the person they lied to remembered, right? So then when innocently they bring up something and it comes up, then they get mad that you remember their lie and they didn't. And there's nothing malicious about it. You just happen to remember something that they told you and they didn't remember. Then it becomes a problem. Then they want to get mad at you. I didn't lie. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? I should be mad because you're trying to insult my intelligence. But I'm not. You can't. Right? That's my message for the life. Keep it real. It makes your life a lot easier. You don't have to keep track of all these lies that you're telling. Just keep it real. Please
You
and thank
know, society on a whole, I think, glorifies lying. Um, you'll see parents at a young age, someone calls the house, tell them I'm not home. You know,
you.
you're doing a disservice when you do that. And
Yeah.
listen, my mom used to do it. Tell them I'm not home, and I'm sitting there going, "Well, you told me not to lie." Right? Society kind of trains people that way, and it's up to you to kind of figure out what your truth will be. Um, integrity is a big thing for me. Am I
It's a
perfect? I am
integrity.
not perfect by any stretch, so I will never go out there and march and tell everyone that I'm perfect. With that being said, for me, integrity is a big thing, and there's certain things that I won't do, or I won't allow myself to be put into or pushed into any certain types of situations. So I agree. The whole lying thing, I find society we become so in bed with lying to the point that when people actually tell them the truth, they don't believe it, right?
People are
Most
always
people would rather believe a lie when the truth doesn't make sense.
people are more
That's
concerned
that's
with
reality.
appearances than keeping it real. That's why, right? People are way more concerned with keeping up appearances than keeping it real. That's why you see people posting a lot of fake shit, right? Most of the shit people post is fake, right? But it's funny what you touched on the example that you used when your mother used to say, tell them I'm not home. This is why my mother didn't like me because I'm the type of child that would have said, my mom told me to tell you she's not home.
But But you see where I'm going with that, right? Like that's where the lying starts, right?
Exactly.
It starts and it goes and it just grows from there. You see other people doing it, see people getting away with it. You're like, wow, I might as well start lying too, right?
And that's the thing. I never adapted that. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. My life is so much more free because I keep it real. And you know what? Not everybody likes it. Not everybody can handle it. Not everybody wants the truth. I find that most people who do lie, a lot of them can't even handle the truth themselves. They'd rather be lied to, right? And that's why they have no problem lying, because they have no problem being lied to. They'd rather be lied to so that they can live in their fantasy than deal with reality, the reality of the truth. I'd much rather take a hard truth over any lie any day, because if you tell me the truth, it's easier for me to trust you. The minute you lie to me, I can't trust you.
But you know, most of society, no, they'd rather live in a reality that's not true.
That's not reality.
They live in a reality that's not true.
But
It
if
is reality. It's a
that,
version of reality. It's not the correct version, but it is still a form of it's just like when you're in a virtual world.
I just,
It's whatever you're living in at that moment.
I,
Right?
any,
Um,
that anything that's not true can't be reality. If it's not true, it can't be reality. It's their version of what they want, but it's not reality. It's
true.
their fantasy. It's their
Okay,
fantasy. Not truth. There's no
true.
reality to it. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, integrity is everything. Like the people's word means nothing now. People don't keep their word.
It's dog shit.
But
It's dog shit. And you try not to step in it. That's what it is.
if you say
Right?
something, do it. That's all I ask, right? But the minute you keep saying you're going to do something and you never come through, your word means shit to me. Your word means shit to me. Now I have to see action. I can't take anything you say. You know what I mean? Can't take
You seem a
any.
little heated. This seems like a fiery dart that you're firing at somebody today.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I get
I'm
it. I get
aggressive.
it.
I'm passive
I get
aggressive. No, it is. Listen, I got more where that came from, but we keep it short
it.
because I got shows coming on this Monday night, and my shows have been on hiatus because last week was New Year's, the week before was Christmas, so I haven't seen my show ready for my reality. Okay, so I'll like close out with my old disclaimer because it seems like people be trying me already for 20. That's like the first video. I'm trying to maintain, protect my peace, right? So I just want to let people know, since they forgot, I do not respond well to bullying, badgering, and or harassment. Okay. And my response is determined by my environment. Okay. Right. My level of discomfort, the level of violation, right? And how close up you are in my personal space. Because if you are infringing on my reasonable enjoyment of my personal space, that makes you a nuisance, right? By definition. Now we have a problem, right? So depending on my environment, I will act accordingly. I read energy and I act accordingly. Okay. So again, I do not respond well to bullying, badgering, and or harassment. I don't say that because it sounds cute. I say it because it's the truth. So when you poke the bear and you get bitten, don't cry. Don't cry because you asked for it. You asked for it. Am I lying? You know me,
I don't know. I've never been on your bats.
right? Because you're smart. Because you're smart. Keep it that way. So coming into this week now, I think my team is playing Miami. Now I wanted your opinion. Do you think that's an easier match for me than Buffalo would have been? Because up until yesterday, I was looking at Buffalo.
Yeah, I think Miami's your better draw.
I agree. I agree.
To
It's
be
on.
honest, can I be honest? I wanted my draw to be against your team.
Really?
I wanted the Steelers to play the Chiefs. Hell
Not
yeah.
this early. Not this early. I didn't want both of our teams to get eliminated this early.
No, one of us would have went through.
It's one of our teams to get eliminated. I didn't want that. So I'm glad you're in the
You know
playoffs.
what?
I'd rather us play in the conference final. I'd rather us play each other in the conference finals. So at least we know we made it out of the divisionals and stuff. The wild card, the divisional. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm hoping that Buffalo is Buffalo and they do what Buffalo doesn't choke. So any given Sunday, right?
You know what it is. What it is. So yeah, my game's Saturday at it's a late game on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to
I saw that.
that. So I'll be decked out, repping my team. Repping my team. So we're about to sign off. Any closing remarks for you?
It's gonna snow tomorrow. So my best advice is don't follow the Huskies where they go. Don't you eat that yellow snow. There you go. That's some good advice you should take. You can take that to the bank all day.
Don't eat the yellow snow. Okay. All right, so we are signing off. We had enough shits and giggles for the night. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Clay, for joining me. Have a good night.
Have a good night.